is DayShift, and time to make some food. I've been eating really late lately. And I'm just going to call it intermittent fasting. Sometimes it's just focusing on other things and not realizing the times. So, Satcha, welcome back. Good to see you. So, I'm about to toast some homemade bread and make some eggs and bacon. Really, it's one of my favorite breakfasts. Can you hear me okay? Nice to see you all. This live is going to be a little bit more informal, perhaps. I'm also opening a jar of homemade pickles, dated August 28, 2024. So those should be well pickled and marinated by now. Hey Dennis, what's up? And I figured if I don't do a live now during food time or right before I eat, it might not happen this afternoon. So I thought I would multitask a little and cook and say hi to all of you. Oh, no sound? Oh wow. That's some static. You should be able to hear me. Can you guys hear me now? Is it any better? I'm not sure why you're not sound. Possibly it's on your end, not mine. Let me know. So, as we get closer to November, that day in particular, certain things are going to keep getting clearer, and so far, the predictions I've been saying for the last couple of years now, so far still on track, which is we're going to see how things play out, and it's looking like there's going to be attempts made to rig the outcome, and so everybody should be getting out to do their thing, do their part, your responsibility, and that's what we can do. Other than talk about it, share what we're experiencing, influence others if that's something that you aspire to do. I think everybody should. What's going on in the world, but only you can decide if that's something you want to do or not. Can't hear me well. Let me, I'm going to switch mics because I wonder if it's this microphone. I'll be right back. I've been having some weird microphone issues lately. How's that? Any better? Testing, testing. You should really be able to hear me well on this one. So, not sure what's going on in the world of YouTubes. Anyway, How's it going? Any better with that sound? I hope. Test, 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 test. How's that? Huh, keeps going in and out. Strange things are occurring. Let me try. I don't really want to restart it. Okay, let's see how this goes for a few minutes. I need to restart it a little bit. It's a bit of a process. I have to do that. One thing, something I mentioned about Pastor Bob and 𝐸𝐵 is that a couple weeks ago we were talking about the hints Gene was dropping, and we're talking about kind of how things are unfolding for Pastor Bob, and we're like, is he going to say something? Is the truth going to come out? What's going to happen? And also, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago, I put out some emails trying to get a little bit more clarification, even if it was stuff that I couldn't share with you. Oh, thanks, Jeanette. Oh, Melinda, no sound. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but basically where we're at is what I can share with you, what I've been told is that we are in sort of a holding pattern, and we're waiting for things to play out the way they're going to play out. And so I recommend, if you want to get a little better idea or grasp about what may be happening, to look at 𝐸𝐻𝐻's videos that I've posted on this channel. Some of them are going to be regular videos on the video page, and some are going to be on the shorts tab, I should say. The videos tab or the shorts tab. Or actually, way better, just go to the playlist tab on this channel, and then you can find all of the 𝐸𝐻𝐻 videos, Bob Joyce Elvis videos, and whatever you want to sort of catch up on. The hints keep coming from Gene. And so it's kind of hard for me to just say how I would go about diving into it more at this particular moment. But you're welcome to come up with your own answers, of course, and see what you get out of it. But if I'm going to give you something sort of from my perspective, and what I am 100% convinced of what we're waiting for, is that we're waiting for this November events to basically transpire and to get to the next phase. And actually, the other thing I can share with you is that I believe it's actually the lack of responses that I've gotten on some questions and some emails, and I'm just going to leave it at that. That actually tells me something too, because as you know, this channel isn't huge, but it's also not tiny, and I'm making an impact to just share what we're finding out. So, sorry, I should catch up on a couple comments here. Okay, I'm just trying to talk louder because I don't know what the issue is with the mic. So, 1786. Well, if you guys never looked into Gematria before, that's all I'm going to say at this moment. But that's something that you should look into if you want to dig deeper. Let's see. Jeanette. Hi, Jeanette. What is the numbers? Oh, you already said that. Melinda, I have my speakers loud and barely have sound. Okay, I'm going to keep working on that. I think I'm going to try ordering a different mic. I don't know, because this one has been not always as good as I want. Tom, do you think that the truth about Bob is coming soon? Yes, I really do. I really do not only believe that, but just everything points to we can't just stay where we're at with Pastor Bob and Elvis. There's too much info coming out there. If you just think of it from his point of view, or somebody in his point of view, or perspective, situation, there's a certain breaking point where there's going to be too many people asking, visiting his church, and so either way, things are going to gotta hit a precipice between the skeptics and the believers to where it needs to be addressed. Okay, so even if you're not like me and you don't believe that there's this bigger plan unfolding, and Pastor Bob knows this, and he's also waiting for a certain announcement, determination to be made, even if you rule all of that out, he is still going to get to a point, which I think is in the next 6 months, where he's going to have to address it more clearly than he has. So you choose which side of it you want to look at. If he's going to be forced to sort of address things, or if it's part of a plan. I'll leave that to you, but I personally believe that there's a very clear plan going on. Hi, Irma. Thank you. Glad to see you too. And so I guess that's me telling you in two different ways that it has to be revealed. And I can say that both as a skeptic and a believer. Either way, no matter how you look at it. And just my intuition and discernment about Gene, he knows something. I mean, he has connections, we know that. He has very interesting connections. Kind of a mysterious past before that maybe, but I'm not going to bother getting into that. So with the candidate that he has ties to, that's for sure. That's public knowledge. And then the George Mag, obvious connection. And then just with George, other connections to that, which reach back to the candidate connections, and around we go. But like I was saying, just my intuition only, discernment. When he's dropping this stuff, I really feel like he does have things that he's trying to tell us, even if it's subtle, even if he maybe has even if he knows that there's very little chance of us sort of breaking the code in any given video. It's just the fact that he's doing it and giving some hope, maybe even letting us know that we're getting closer to certain events, that's meaningful in itself. And so I do think for most people that are listening to him and what he's sharing with everybody, that's probably the main goal, honestly. And we've seen that in a lot of different ways from a lot of different people the last 4 years, shall we say. So that's kind of my current update on Pastor Bob and 𝐠𝐤𝐻𝐿 and how nothing is changing from what I said a few weeks ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, as far as what we're waiting for, which is really November, December 2024 and January 2025. And like I just told a friend earlier this morning, I'm making eggs, hopefully that's not even more overpowering mic or lack of microphone. Once we get to, just to throw out an approximate date, November 7th, 8th, I don't know, somewhere around there, I will probably have the next level prediction, expectation to put your way at that point. Why? Because once we get after the November date and we've witnessed a certain amount of things take place, which I don't know all these things, of course. Once we get a couple days after that, then other dots that have been connected from previous things, yada yada, is going to make more sense about what's next. So that's where I think we're at right now. And other than us trying to piece together a little more tidbits and maybe feel a little bit better about where we're at or what's going on, and that's pretty much where we're at. And what I would also say, though, about if you are supporting the male candidate, is it's looking like there is a blowout that is underway. And there's a lot of science pointing to that, which means I think it's going to be increasingly difficult for there to be a grab from him. And that's what we want. In fact, there's a phrase that he's been saying for at least the last year now. Too big, too. That's what we're going for. We need everybody out there. That's why I'm trying to... thanks, Irma. That's why I'm trying to get through to all of you, like I was maybe last weekend, that we all have the power to influence others positively, even just by our actions or things we do. As a Christian, as a trades person, whatever you do, we all make those decisions that can influence others. So I have no influence over people in your sphere who obviously don't watch this channel. Only you can do that. So a lot of these last 4 years, it's all been just about letting people see how things really are and sharing it and sort of revitalizing really where we came from in the first place and what we're supposed to stand for, represent, however I can put that. trying to be as clear as possible, but it really is important. And as most of you know, like from a sales approach, word of mouth is the best advertising. So what does that mean? It means everyday people like you and me, we can have the biggest effect on this whole thing. And we're seeing that happen. So I don't know, just something to keep in mind. What are we down to? We're like, are we 12 days away? We're getting pretty close. It's been a long wait. We're almost there. But I seasoned that with, I do think we got a couple, maybe long months ahead of us. And they may feel even longer if things go the way that I personally expect. Let's just prepare for that. Prepare for sort of, if you want to call it, worst case scenario, because then we won't be upset. Voice goes up and down. Well, I'll definitely be checking out what this recording sounds like afterward. Melinda, Pastor Bob and Trump connection. Well, the biggest one that we can really point to clearly was Pastor Bob went to Mar-a-Lago and he led a prayer, and so he was there. And so it's pretty likely that there was a private meeting that went down. Probably wasn't the only one either between those two. But is it better now, Irma? Oh, yeah. See, all I did was I unplugged my thing and plugged it right back in. So, okay. Now I'm going to have to make this video all over again. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, good sound. Yeah, that's technology for you. I already triple checked everything and it still didn't work. And then magically it does. So, okay, what do I need to re-explain? So this was meant to be informal and also to share, I don't know, get more of you up to speed on what's been happening. Pretty much the continued confirmations of what I've been saying, which for me is a good thing, but I think for you too, because I would rather err on the side of things are going to get a bit rough on this ride for the next few months and be well prepared than, I don't know, me just saying all kinds of positive things and it's going to be amazing. And honestly, I'd probably get a lot more people following me that way if I was just all positive, all hope and love and excitement and Yahoo, right? It probably would be better for the channel if we're talking about numbers, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to give you guys the best sort of mental preparation for what's coming. And okay, Belinda, what was your answer to Jeanette's question? The 1786. I'm trying to figure. Okay, good question. That's good to review. I would say one word answer to that question, and that is Gematria. Probably a little bit difficult for me to go into explanation on that, but often in sort of the circle of discussion that we're in right now, that is what is often used as really just another hint or another indication of what's being talked about or what's being hinted about. So, Gematria. And that the rest is up to you to look into that. I just seen 𝐸𝐴𝐻 yesterday in that little video. Oh, okay. So, yeah, let me circle back to what I said before. If you want to dive deeper into what Gene's posted, of course, Pastor Bob and Elvis stuff, even Michael Jackson or some other things, the easiest way to do that on this channel is to go to the playlist because everything's already been organized. 𝐸𝐴𝐻, Bob Joyce and Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson, Elon Musk. Some of the playlists, there's only a handful of videos, but I think the Bob Joyce playlist is probably around 150. So plenty of stuff you can look into there. I'm not going to call him Bob anymore because we all know who he really is and wonder, would Elvis see? Yeah, I don't know, he wants to be called Pastor Bob, so I'll call him Pastor Bob. And even though I'm kind of with what you're saying, but that's he's a pastor now, has been for quite a while. So it's good either way. So yeah, the 1786, that's what I'm talking about. It's kind of hard for me to spell it out all right now, but there is the code to the numbers. So there is a meaning that he's trying to convey, which can mean some different things to different people too. But over and above everything else, I really believe that a big element, the main element of what Gene is doing is to provide hope, just provide the fact that, yes, things are happening and we're waiting for these conclusions. And this is a good thing. We're not just sort of hoping everything works out. No, there's a much bigger plan uh, that's been evolving for many years already. And if you're just kind of realizing this, that's okay. That's great that you're seeing it. Some of us have been already looking at it for a long time now. And so it's not a guessing game for us. It's just, it can be kind of difficult to explain in a few sentences. So, live with Nick, he doesn't know what it means. LOL. For somebody, oh, because he's not Elvis. I'm not Elvis. Oh, okay. So we got a skeptic here. Hey, that's okay. Live with Nick. I welcome the skeptics. My approach is multifaceted, how I look into things. It's very intuitive because I am naturally very intuitive of a person, but then it's also very logical. Uh, Emotion is involved for everybody. You cannot take that out of the equation. But I do look at it from both an analytical or many different ways, analytical, logically, intuitively. We all judge, even if we think we don't or say we don't. We all judge situations, people in different ways. So I take that all into account. And I've also said many times that I was never really an Elvis fan. So I'm actually a really good person to be looking at this stuff because no matter how it pans out, I'm fine. Saying Pastor Bob is being very, very respectful to him. And I agree. There's nothing wrong with it. Definitely anointed since birth and protected until now. An angel to the faith and church in America. Love you, Elvis, forever, and God bless Pastor Bob. Amen. Thank you, Joshua. Okay, so if I can try to say one more response to the code number, it's not too difficult to look up and find Gematria and how to plug in what you're trying to figure out and sort of get the response. I That's about all I can say. Um, People have been saying Live with Nick said people have been saying for decades Elvis was coming back. He'd be 90 years old. Don't y'all think he'd have come back by now? That's, I mean, I get the question and it's a logical question, but that in itself doesn't, it's not convincing any more than the hundreds of videos that I've seen that show there's something on the other side. So I get what you're saying, and I've I've asked myself that same question many times. But excuse me, you're either basically the kind of person that looks into it more or wants to look into it more, or you don't. And anybody can be a skeptic, and I get it, but things are not always as they seem either. And I think the last 4 years alone have shown us that. Well, I mean, when you consider Nick, the fact that he's never said that he was Elvis or wasn't, we don't even really know what his mentality could be there. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's totally fine with not revealing it, but circumstances, kind of like I was saying earlier, they're kind of out of his control. At a certain point, he's either going to have to say it super clearly that leaves no doubt, or there's going to be enough people following him to where it's going to get to a breaking point and he's going to be kind of forced. And so, me personally, I'm not trying to get him to do it. That's not at all why I share the videos or talk about him. I'm totally happy with whatever he wants to do. It's his life. But I don't see anything negative or scheming about what he does whatsoever. And that's not something I can necessarily prove. That's just my intuition and discernment that when I watch him, when I listen to him, I just see Pastor Bob, man of God, doing what he thinks he should do best. And, but yeah, intuition is telling me there's a lot more going on that not only can I not explain, but I can't prove to anyone. But that's how intuition and discernment works. So, but to one more way, like I had before, address that the skeptic topic of why would he come back? How is it even possible that he could be in hiding for that long? Well, we know that people go into hiding or witness protection. So it's not like a far fetched, that is not like the tinfoil thing. It's just not. Um, the fact that we're talking about Elvis, somebody so crazy popular, yes, that does add another layer to it, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. So, but I don't really try to convince anybody of anything. Like I said, you either look into topics, all topics under the sun. You either look into them more and um, come up with your own belief, or you don't. And there's plenty of topics I haven't looked into more, but I kind of have my idea about. But there's only so many hours in a day and only so many things we want to focus on. So we all go about it differently in life. For Pastor Bob, I believe it's all about Jesus. I think that's really obvious Dennis, so I agree. Love Song said he only ever wanted to be a preacher. He's not interested in the Elvis thing anymore, but we know it is him. I think so too. Um, it seems some of you know this better than me, but as far as when he was past his height as Elvis, or when he got to the point where he realized it wasn't making him happy anymore, he had all the money, he had all the women, he had all the fame, recognition, all the adoration, but he wasn't happy, which the Bible tells us that, we can't, money only gets you so far in this world. And um, for him, he hit that point where he just realized the emptiness of it. And so once you've attained that height of worldly success, and you realize that it's just a pitfall into the depths of nothingness, some people would just give up at that point, and some people, maybe much more rarely, would totally turn the other direction. And we know that Elvis was very spiritual. He believed in God. Talked about, I don't know, about being a preacher. About there's lots of little hints in there too. And one more reason that we've connected certain things and say, yeah, this is a real possibility. So it's just he would have, considering what he went through as Elvis, he would be the perfect candidate to do that, and to not care anymore about the money or anything until he goes to heaven, right? He's just totally happy at a small church preaching, and there's just no desire there for the money, for the fame, none of that. So again, some of these things we can't prove. It's just you connect dots, you use your intuition, and you get the perspectives from others, and things aren't always 100%. And realistically, it could be next year or 2027 or something, before everything that I'm talking about, everything we're thinking about right now regarding him, is crystal clear. It's possible. I hate to even think that, because so much time and thought kind of goes into it, but it's a possibility. I'm not going to rule it out. Um, okay, I think I need to wrap this up so I can eat soon. But since the mic magically started working, I thought I would continue on a little bit longer. Okay, Live with Nick said, you've looked into it for 2 years and there's no proof he's Elvis. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, I haven't heard too many people say that they've looked into it for that long and are that sure that it's not him. So, like I said, I'm not here to convince anybody, but of course, I spent a lot of time on it too, and that is not that's not where I'm at, obviously. But okay, I got way behind on the comments, but yeah, we're waiting for things to play out. I should wrap it up so I can eat and get back to. I have a new piano song that I really think is going to be inspiring for many of you. Hopefully, well, I think no later than tomorrow morning that'll be out. And another vocal song, which is actually a love song, but I helped make for a friend of mine. I think a lot of you will like it. But not all of the videos I post to which is why I keep talking about the playlist. Not all of the videos will pop up and you guys will see when I post it. I wish that was the case, but I think part of that is just if you're following lots of channels, it's kind of like, um, you know, YouTube is picking what they think they want you to see the most. So I'll just leave that at that. But the playlists are the best way to go. If you want to check out some of my music, which I have relaxing music when you need to de-stress from all this thinking stuff, um, or if you want to study more on the topics or the people that I've been posting about, just go to the playlist, because everything is not going to be seen. Even I have a second YouTube channel. Well, I have a couple, but I have another YouTube channel that I post on, not very much lately, but INFJ topic stuff. And so I see what I'm notified about on the Matt Savina channel, on that channel, and not everything comes through. So that's just how it is. And but I am trying to uh, give you guys as much as I can every day, and trying to balance the music and the info stuff. It's really hard sometimes, but that's pretty much where we're at. I hope I covered it a second time with the working mic. And yeah, we're all going to be kind of where we're at this point. And that's another thing I've been trying to get through to everybody is I think to a certain extent, we don't need to fight kind of where we're at in this world right now. We're waiting for certain things to happen, for more info to be clearer. And I really believe it's just God's timing. He's bringing this, he's even giving us this time to think through some of our own biases and even how we discern, because it's a skill. Using your intuition and discernment, it's a skill, and it's actually best learned and practiced in harder times, I would say. So that's what we're doing right now. We're honing those skills, and we're probably going to find out a lot of things, if they were right, if they were wrong, those kinds of things. So that will also be lessons learned. But so far, I feel really good about everything I've been telling you guys, and I'm going to keep looking for more stuff. I check many apps and have my sources pretty much all worked out from the last 7, 8 years. So I have reliable people that I'm following to try to make sure I got the best stuff to bring you guys on a daily basis. And it might be kind of a slow day, but I think I'll be able to get more out to you later today. So thank you all for watching. God bless you guys. Belinda, thank you. God's timing. Sharon, love songs. Uh-huh. Yeah, so maybe you'll like this new one. I'm kind of waiting on my friend to give me the go ahead to publish that one. The song and video is already done, but he's been out of the country, and I think that's part of the delay. But I'm hoping by this weekend I'll be able to publish that one, because it's a really beautiful video and love song, and maybe even a tearjerker for some of you. So it was for me. So that's how good I think it is. Sacha said, "Is it right that the witness protection would end in 2011?" I really haven't dug apart that aspect of it, but it's very possible. Thanks, Sharon. I'm glad you enjoy the music. That is my main passion, is the music and inspiring you all, keeping you going, maybe giving you something relaxing to listen to while you work or sleep or whenever you need it. I listen to relaxing music when I'm shopping a lot. just because it's whether I have a signal or not at the time, depending on the store I go to. It's just gets me out of that shopping brain and I just kind of go with the flow. So, okay. Thank you all for joining me and asking the questions, bringing the comments. It's an ongoing conversation, but I'm really excited as I've ever been these last more than 4 years. And so we're kind of waiting for these next couple months. So do not fear, do not fear, do not fear. There's probably going to be some circumstances that's you're going to want to feel that, or you're going to want to give into it, but don't. Just pray, trust God. It's darkest before the dawn, whatever you need to remember. But I see good things happening. I see more good happening than bad. So, okay, I'm going to wrap it up. And I didn't really show you my food, but yes, I got bacon. Look at this cold food. Look what I do for you guys. I got cold eggs and bacon and pickles. Well, the pickles were already cold, but I don't mind. I'm still going to love it. So, yes. So I'm going to eat this food and get back to work for you guys. So stay tuned. Keep checking out the playlist or however you do it. And yep, I'm excited too, Irma. No problem. Don't be sorry. It was on purpose. I wanted to do some live before I got back to work. So making food was the right time to do it. Okay. Stay tuned. More coming soon. Take care, you guys.